Okay. Alrighty. It's Monday, and this is a weekend update on Monday. It's now Monday afternoon, in Ireland anyway. The market is just about open, uh, I think, and I'm about to do a weekend update, which I didn't get to this weekend. So you'll excuse the slow start. This is Enda here from bullwaves.org, and this is your Elliott Wave weekend update. And we'll clue in on what's happening in the markets and what we see happening this week. Okay, let's get to the dollar FXs first. We have been declining quite, steadily since mid-July. What's that? Mid-July. We have, I think, a third wave done. I think we'll go up into a fourth wave. There's always a couple of ways of viewing this. You can view this as an ending diagonal pattern, and if you do that, then we have wave 3 done, and we'll head higher in wave 4 beginning this week. Probably, correct higher somewhere back towards that, 200 MA somewhere, maybe around 108, 109, and then head lower again into wave 5. So, an ending diagonal pattern would be 3 down, 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, 3 down. 5 sets of 3s. And again, the target remains the same, about 105. Target has always been around 105, but we may even go a bit lower than that. We'll see how it goes, but back towards about 105 would be good for a start. If we got down towards 102, even better. But at the moment, I think we're pretty close. We're getting there. We're getting close to completing wave C of 2, and wave C of 2 will come in. Will bring in a reasonably significant low before we rally in wave 3, and wave 3 up could be a significant rally. If we go out to the daily chart, wave 3 up could bring us up to about 120 again. So, there's 2,000 pips there, or 2,000 points, sorry, there. That's nothing to be sneezed at all in any way, shape, or form. You can see how I'm constructing this ABC pattern here. There's wave 1 up, wave A down, 3 up in B, and then 5 waves down in wave C. Again, we should be coming in somewhere around 105. And euro dollar looks like it's going to rally from there, probably towards the end of September, in towards the end of the year. So this week looks like we'll complete wave 3 and we'll head higher in wave 4. That's a basic outlook for the moment. We'll see how it goes night by night. Obviously, if you want night by night updates, you come and join the website bullwave.org. But I think we're going to be heading higher into wave 4 this week. We'll see. We'll see how this final fifth wave in wave C of 3 pans out today. But I think if we get a punch up towards 107 or so, that'll probably confirm that wave A of 4 is underway. Okay, let's move on. You can see that slightly different. We're on a different kind of, how would you say, cyclical internal wave here in cable. Usually they would move together, but I think cable is probably ahead of the game. I think we'll probably head lower in cable in the interim. In the next few months, we'll probably head lower in terms of the larger pattern. So if we go to 4-hour count here, we have a wave 1 and 2 completing, and we'll probably head lower into a third wave towards probably the end of October or somewhere around that. For the moment, we have a wave 1 pretty much done. We're going to head higher into a wave 2 this week. But I don't think, on the 4-hour count here, I don't think we'll break above that wave 2 top again as this pattern continues. So I think longer term, we're probably heading lower in cable. Medium term, we're going to have a correction higher in the next month or so. Longer term, though, we're heading down into a third wave. How does this kind of juxtapose against euro dollar? Well, you would in turn, the Atlantic pairs, you would kind of expect them to run together. I think there's going to be a larger rally in euro dollar before we turn down into a longer decline. So they're kind of out of step a little bit. But in general, longer term, euro dollar will head lower, but we have a significant rally to come first. Let's get into the hourly count and cable. You can see that wave 4 blue and wave 5 blue is what I've been counting. In wave 5 blue, we've got wave 1, 2, 3, possible running flat wave 4, and then down into wave 5. The channel here, for wave 1 down will complete somewhere down around 122, 122.50 maybe. I'm not I can't rule out the fact that we may get there, but I'm not, banking on it either. I think this fifth wave will peter out pretty soon. And then later on this week, we'll be heading higher into a second wave. So it'll be ABC up in wave 2. And I'm expecting somewhere back around 127, 128 for that to complete. Later on, probably, this second wave higher will probably take about 2 weeks to unfold. So we're not talking the end of this week, we're talking somewhere around the 30th for wave 2 to be complete. Okay, let's go to dollar yen. We had been pointing higher in wave 5 of 3. Looks like we're pretty darn close to the top of wave 5 of 3 now. Maybe one more step rally, step down rally higher in wave 5 of 5. It looks like we are on to wave 4 of 5 right now. We've got wave A done, wave B up, made a very slight new high. The overnight trade was it's not much to write about at all, to be honest, as it so often is in dollar yen. But I'm running with the idea that this is an expanded flat correction, wave 4 in blue, and then later on in the week we'll run higher in wave 5 of 5, and that'll be of 3, of a larger wave 3. So see that larger wave 3 in red, and that should complete somewhere up around 150, I think. Go to the hourly count. I think, 150 is probably a reasonable target for this larger wave to complete. So early on in the week, this week, we're going to concentrate on completing this fourth wave. Initial target would be somewhere around 145.80 or something. An initial break of wave A anyway. So we've got ABC. Wave C should break the wave A low, 145.89. So between there and the lower support at 144.44, so somewhere in that region, we're going to have a complete correction, and then we'll run higher in wave 5. That is the outlook for this week. All right, the possibilities here in the Dow. Looks like we may have a 1-2 pattern complete, and then a lower degree 1-2, maybe a lower degree 1-2 pattern. The price kind of came down pretty hard on Friday. So if this is a third wave beginning, then we should, or a third of a third more to the point, then we should see this downside continue for the next few days. Let's go to the short-term chart. You can see wave 2 is done here, so maybe wave 1, wave 2, and then a beginning of wave 3 down. Wave 3 should extend lower. Very minimum break of 34,000, but much more likely that wave 3 of 3 will probably break, 33, probably somewhere down around 33 actually to complete wave 3 of 3. But it's going to be a very interesting week in terms of this short-term pattern. If this short-term pattern is correct, which I just can't confirm just yet, we need that acceleration lower into that third wave to confirm it. But if this pattern is correct here, then we are heading into a sustained period of selling for the next couple of weeks. And that could probably do all sorts of things to other markets. So you're probably going to get a rally in bonds to coincide with that. You're going to get maybe a rally on the dollar to coincide with that, as people kind of chase some sort of momentary safety, excuse me, a safe harbor somewhere in the short term. If this unfolds into the larger pattern that I think it will eventually, then this will be the sayonara moment to the lower highs before we start heading lower precipitously for longer. So this week is going to be very interesting in terms of proving that theory correct. And if that theory is correct, then we are going lower for longer into a series of third waves. So watch out on that front. It's going to be quite exciting, I think. Okay, let's get on. We go to gold. The short-term pattern in gold is, it's moving in lockstep pretty reasonably well. But I think the price action in gold is probably going to mirror the stock market for the next at least few weeks anyway. I'm looking at 5 waves down in wave 1, and then we're working on wave 2, a bearish lower high in wave 2 this week. So we could have a third of a third decline also in gold, and that, if that does materialize, then we could be looking well down into the 1850 kind of price range before that third of a third actually completes. So I'm afraid in terms of this pattern, I don't think gold is going to be any sort of a safe haven towards a declining risk assets. That declining risk assets will draw lots of things down with it, as people just go hands off. So a third of a third in gold will definitely play into that scenario quite well. So I would watch out for that, to be quite honest. Okay, let's move on to crude oil. I'll be looking for a top in crude oil pretty soon, definitely this week. The pattern in wave 5 of C has worked out quite well. We do have 5 waves up complete, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5, and we have filled the trend channel in wave 5. Bit of a throw over happening right now, and then late last week there was a bit of weakness actually. So the first kind of, let's say, reasonable sell-off, an impulsive looking sell-off for a good few weeks. So I think at this point the fifth wave here is beginning to sputter out. I don't know, I can't put a pin on the final top here yet, but I think this fifth wave is going to sputter out pretty soon. I think we will reverse in a pretty impulsive fashion, maybe even before the end of this week. And like most risk assets, crude oil is a risk asset, and it's going to sell off hard into an economic decline. So I don't care who you are or what you think output's going to do and all that sort of stuff. There's nothing that Saudi Arabia, Russia, Qatar, Oman, any of those places can do to avert a collapse in prices into an economic decline or a recession, or depression. So crude oil for the medium term, I think, is pretty screwed oil. If we're completing a fourth wave here, then let's change the color on that one. Actually, forgive me. It's been green for too long. Okay, that fourth wave in red there is going to lead to a pretty catastrophic decline in wave 5, and wave 5 down, I think, will collapse prices well back down below $50 again. So, we're coming there. It's just a matter of closing out this fifth wave of wave C, and then we'll look for that bearish head and shoulders pattern off the top here. So that will, all in good time. But as for this week, I think we will see the end of wave 5 of C. In what form, I don't particularly know just yet, but it will come. Okay, so let's move on. The S&P, again, just like the Dow, we've got that 1-2 pattern to the downside, and then last week we ended the week with a pretty serious retracement of that 3-wave rally. So you can see, if I expand that a little bit, we've got a possible wave 2 top there. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down in wave 1. We've got an ABC pattern up in wave 2, and we have a 1, 2 pattern again. And then to cap that off, we finished the week last week with a significant, in terms of size, not a significant sell-off in terms of size, We had the internal pattern here in wave B actually sold off more powerfully, but significant in terms of the fact that we rallied in 3 waves to create a lower high, and then pretty much on the nose turned heavily lower and hard lower in a possible wave 1 to begin wave 3. So if this is wave 3 now in pink beginning, then it'll be wave 3 of 3 of 3. If you can see on that'll be wave 2 here. Sorry, it'll be wave 3 of 3 of 1 of 3. So we still have wave 1 down, the large degree wave 1 down in green. And I should have put that in here just to give myself some context before I'm kind of running away with myself here. So here we are. That'll be wave 1 of the larger 3. So we should work down in 5 waves in wave 1, and I'm thinking somewhere down, probably a break of 4,000 again to complete wave 1. So a significant decline, probably below 4,200 in wave 3, maybe even lower. Go to the hourly count here. If that's a 1-2 pattern, then wave 3 should begin, and I think we should see some serious follow through to the downside here if this pattern is correct. There's nothing to suggest that it ain't correct at the moment. We have the correct internals going on here. So we've got 5 waves down in wave 1, clear 3 waves up in wave 2, 78.6 retracement tag. We filled the trend channel, and then we declined pretty impulsively on Friday. The futures this morning are trading. Oh, look at that, 44, 44, 44. There's judgment for you. That's a 4 is a judgment number from God. Or testing, testing period. Okay, we've got 5 waves down. I would look for a break of wave 1, 44.28 in wave 1 of 3. So that's where I'm looking at this week. Okay, okay, here we are in silver. This is the 4-hour count here. If you can see, I'm working on the idea that we are declining now in a C wave to complete a correction in wave 2. So here we have the wave 1 top way back in May. Initially 5 waves down in A, then an expanded flat wave B, and now it looks like we're going to head down in 5 waves again in wave C. This C wave could push its way. It could push its way back down towards $20 again. If we are, if we continue in the same vein as we did in the last couple of weeks, there is an alternate count which would suggest that we are working on a C wave decline at one larger degree, which could actually bring the price down much further. And you might think that in times of distress, if we're actually looking at a crash scenario in risk assets, that silver might be buoyed by that. But I think the exact opposite is true. I think everything gets dumped. I think bonds, people run into bonds and people run into cash. So in that scenario, silver gets dumped as well. So either way, it's a wave C of 2. If we're going to decline in 5 waves here, at this point we're probably inching towards the alternate, more bearish scenario here. And I'll show you that on the hourly count, because I'm looking at a possible 1-2, 1-2 here. So you can see here that's 1-2 of C, and this would be 1-2 to begin wave 3 of C. So this week is going to be again a pivotal week in this market because we've got 5 waves down. We just came in pretty much a double bottom here with the previous wave 1, so we have retraced quite deep. This lower degree wave 1 has retraced almost the full higher degree wave 1. So we should move higher in wave 2. I've been tracking that the last couple of days. I'm looking at about 2360 for wave 2 to complete. ABC up wave 2, 2360 hit, then I think we'll look for a reversal again into wave 3 down. Wave 3 of 3, most likely towards the end of this week. And once that is done, then once wave 2 is done, then wave 3, towards the end of this week, it should head lower for at least a week. And I think by the end of September, we'll know pretty conclusively which wave count is more suited here. The interim decline in wave C of 2 before we rally hard, that would be this wave count here, or the larger degree second wave, which could bring us down to around about $14 again, if that's the case. So you can see here, if this is wave 1 and we're heading lower in wave 2, we should complete down around $20, maybe $20.50, and then head higher. If we break 1990 again, then I think we're heading lower in the larger alternate bearish count here. So, again, this week is looking pretty significant in silver also. And I think that's pretty much, maybe I'm on Bitcoin now. I'll actually just head into it and complete this pattern. So let's get into Bitcoin. This is the hourly count here. I have been tracking the low of wave 1 over the last few weeks. If you go back in the videos, you'll see. Looking for 3 waves up in wave 2. Not sure if this is just wave A of 2 and if this is going to be a larger, kind of longer, more drawn out process. I don't know yet. For the moment, you could say that we have wave C of 2 underway. Possibly this rally this morning is wave 3 of C. Then, we'll head higher in 5 waves, top out somewhere around the previous 4th wave, about 28,000, 28,500 maybe, and then head lower into wave 3 again. Bitcoin is not going to escape the downdraft. When the downdraft comes, the system-wide sell-off will kill Bitcoin, okay? Because it is the riskiest of risk assets. You would rather hold Apple stock than Bitcoin when it does actually start to pump lower and accelerate lower in a pretty horrific way. Okay, that is that. I think we've come to the end of the video, and as usual, I end with the presentation of the gospel. The gospel means good news. Good news is that, first of all, there is bad news. Bad news is we are all born under Adam, a sinner, and we come into this world in sin, and we are already condemned by being humans. We cannot, even though we are creations of God, He will not abide with us in the state that we are in, that is, in sin. Even the slightest little sin, you have a wayward thought, that's a sin that the Lord God cannot abide by. So what's the solution? Well, that's the bad news. Here's the good news. The Lord God himself came into this world, lived the perfect sinless life, died on a cross, on the tree, for our sins, to pay the debt that we owe, being humans, being under Adam. We owe that debt to the Lord God. He paid it himself, and he offers that free gift to you. All you have to do is accept it. You accept, you admit you're a sinner. You by even believing that you need a Messiah, you have already admitted that you're a sinner. So you need a Messiah. You need salvation. Salvation in Hebrew is the word Yeshua. Yeshua is the direct translation is Jesus. You need Jesus. These are the ABCs of Jesus. Admit you're a sinner. Believe that Jesus is God's son. He died on the cross for you, and he rose up from the grave on the 3rd day, paying that debt, and death itself could not hold him because he is not a sinner. And then confess that he is the Lord of your life. And then you have everlasting life. Go read the scriptures. You'll see Romans 3:23, Romans 10, 9 and 10, and John 1:2. It's all over the Gospel of John, actually. You just read that one. Apart from that, it's Monday. I'm tripping over my tongue all morning. And I will see you tonight for the nightly update for you website members. And I'll see you hopefully Friday or Saturday this week to review the week and preview next week if I'm still here. All right. Bon voyage. Au revoir. God bless. See you later.